New season just started, still working on my map vision. This is a new map I've played literal 0 games on. So I don't know what all the new Protoss cheeses are. I know they can do some new things with the new building they got that regenerates shields, the shield battery. This is a silver level opponent, so I don't know what I'm going to get. A lot of times when you get paired against lower level opponents, it means they are going to do a cheese. I decided I'm not going to worry about it and just do my normal thing and expand first, since I don't know what any of the cheeses are anyway. I'm going to do my plan, which is to make a base, make Hydralisks and Banelings, and use those to win. And then if we need to transition to Broodlords later, do that. So, starts out with just a very normal game. I've decided if they're doing something super all-in cheese, I'm going to die to it. I'm not going to concern myself with it. I will give myself some time to learn what those are before I consider them in the game. Maybe learn from seeing what my opponent does. But if they don't do anything like that, then, you know, the mid-game I don't feel like has changed a whole ton for Protoss. It's mostly the early game cheeses have changed a lot. I know there are some Zerg changes to the mid and late game that I will need to experiment with that I haven't done so yet. In particular, I know that the Infestor got a lot better, so I'm going to have to actually learn how to start using that unit. I think I've maybe made fewer than 10 Infestors the entire time I've played Starcraft 2. I've played a couple thousand games on the ladder now, so I might need to actually start learning how to use that unit. We are going to go ahead and look at my vision, because that is still something I'm working on. It actually, even though I don't do the vision thing that perfectly this game, it saves me a couple times. I spot things on the minimap that if I wasn't aware that I was needing vision, I might have missed. See, I'm just kind of looking around at how things are laid out in this map. I've literally not played a game on it, not even loaded up in a custom. Because you could do that in a practice game and learn how all this stuff is laid out. They're ladder points, they're fake points, they don't matter. Doesn't bother me if I win or lose. You can see me doing a lot of more camera scrolling than I normally do. This is on my player cam from the game. Because generally, once I know where things are on the map, I don't have to scroll around as much. A little bit to micro in fights, you know, only a tiny bit. Not constantly kind of looking around the map like that. It's a really inefficient way to look around the map. You want to just click on where you want to go or hotkey where you want to go. I see, oh, my opponent doesn't have their natural down. I better actually check what's going on here if I'm getting rushed. So that drone I queued up to make up hatchery, I reroute it to stay at my natural, make a baneling nest, because I know one of the things people can be doing is a faster zealot charge all-in, so I'm going to need banelings if that's what they're doing. A new queen has emerged. I go up here, okay, it's a gateway, I do actually click on the gateways. That was one of the things I learned in a previous video I wasn't always doing with my Overlord, to actually verify what buildings they're building. So I did in fact verify what buildings they were building there. Going back, make sure all my early game stuff is in order, that I'm hitting my injects, that I'm making more queens, because queens are good to defend all-ins. They're just an all-around good unit. Should probably be making more queens in most games anyway. I'm starting to try to spread my overlords to get more vision around the map. So I see multiple zealots, another one popping there, and I see that they are chrono boosting their Twilight Council. Chrono Boost got changed, so it makes things research and build a lot faster when it's on. It's now an activated ability. It lasts for a really short amount of time, but it greatly increases the rate at which a unit is built or upgrade is researched. I see multiple zealots there, which tells me they are researching charge, because you do not have multiple zealots this early in the game if you're not planning to attack with charge. I see on the minimap here on the replay that I have actually seen this pylon on the minimap. I did not realize that in the game quite yet, but my Overlord, because I passed it there, did see it, so I could have actually reacted to this sooner than I did. This is my 4-minute check. I have scouted my opponent's main base. I know what's going on. I have tabs, reasonable tabs on some of the other bases, like this potential third has Zerglings at it, this potential third has an Overlord on its way there. I don't have follow-ups on if they're taking a natural, but it looked like they were doing something super all-in off one base, so I don't need to just yet. And I'll refill my player cam and keep going here. The one thing is, if I had looked at my minimap a little bit sooner, I would have realized the pylon at the, what would be my third base, or maybe my fourth. I think in most matchups I would take that as my third. The fourth up there that's kind of at the 11 o'clock, so what's that, the 1 o'clock position from my main there. I think it has a little bit too open of a space and too many attack paths into it, and there's fewer attack paths into the third base that's along the edge of the map there at the 12 o'clock from my natural. So I'm going to make a layer, because it's getting late enough now that their all-in hasn't come. Okay, maybe they're not doing it. Maybe they're just massing units in their base. That turns out not to be the case. I do see, well, that's weird. They're taking the space out here, which I don't know how correct that is for Protoss. Just my initial impression is that for Zerg, that's not an ideal third base. It's more of a fourth base, really. So I made some roaches trying to defend if there's an all-in coming in. Now, hey, look, there's all these units here. My roaches are about to pop, so I'll be able to counter this. I should really be making the couple Zerglings I have into Banelings to try to deal with these Zealots. I don't do that. They end up just dying to the Zealots without trading for any value. I hold position the roaches on the ramp so they at least won't just get surrounded by the Zealots like all the ones down by my natural did. I run the drones because I go, well, these guys are dead if I don't. Fortunately, my opponent does not actually pursue them, so they just go chill over here by the minerals for a while. Make a few spines to maybe prevent them from going back home if they're going to try to leave. I've just given up on my natural. There's too many Zealots here. I need to pull up enough of an army. Okay, so at 6 minutes, I should look at my map vision again, so you see I'm pulling more roaches here. So I do have eyes on potential thirds. I don't know what's going on with their natural still. I haven't followed up with their main base, but I knew I was needing to hold this all in, so that's not super important just yet. But this is the sort of thing after I hold this all in. Well, it looks like an all in. I'm not sure if it really is. After I hold this aggression, I will need to go and check on that. Because right now, gotta make sure to not be dead.
Your forces are under attack!
I do some kind of sloppy micro with these roaches. I know you can do this better, and you can actually pick off more Zealots if you do it right. I mean, maybe not with charge. I haven't had a lot of practice against charge Zealots with roaches.
Your base is under attack again.
Did I get the roaches upgrade? Yeah, okay, they do have speed. Thought they did.
You're under attack.
So eventually I take care of all this. I don't quite do this right. I think I should have had my workers attack for about a second longer to get this last Zealot so that my queen wouldn't have died. So I end up... No. Yeah, I send them back to working just a tiny bit too soon and ends up letting the queen die when she could have survived with maybe like 5 hit points left. Like 1 attack worth of Zealot left. Okay, finally cleaned everything up. Send my Zerglings up here to clean up this last Zealot, try to retake my expansion, and just re-normalize the game.
That mineral field's gone.
At this point, I do look around the minimap again to see what is going on. And I believe that in a second I go, oh hey, there's a pylon up there, but really that's been up there for at least 3 minutes. I should have already been dealing with this. Okay, hey, they're trying to take this expansion. It's kind of a weird place, like I said. I'm not sure how good I think that expansion is. It's got kind of a lot of attack paths to it. It's easy for the Zerg to surround. I sent my Zerglings over there to cancel it. And it's a success. I go, oh hey, there's that pylon. I finally realized in game at 8 minutes. I think it's been there since like 3 minutes. It's been there a long time. So I queue up my Zerglings to go back and clean that up too, so I can't at least have things warped in right by my base anymore from that pylon. So here at 8 minutes, look at my vision again. I have got tabs on this base, which let me know to cancel it. Got tabs on this base if they're trying to take it. Just running past this one. Checking out this one. Not quite at the corners yet. Not holding the watchtowers. Really should be holding the watchtowers. But I do have a lot better vision of a lot more important places than I was having when I started doing the vision practice, even though I've had some aggression going on against me this game. I'm moving my spines to a place I think they'll be more reasonable. Maybe I actually should have put them on top of the ramp here.
Our forces are under attack. A new queen.
Consider that for if I have to do something like this in the future. Had to make some new queens. That's the first one hatching. I spotted the next... So that's the pylon that I spotted to take out with my Zerglings. So I did eventually get the Hydralisk then down. Gonna start getting some upgrades now that I'm resaturating my bases. Once I actually have enough on the minerals, I'm gonna start mining gas again. Just trying to move around with my Zerglings on the map to see if they see anything, to stay safe. Get more queens. Trying to keep this creep around the edge of my base in the main base to look for warp prisms that might come in. Try to drop off some units. So I've been trying to really creep up the... That one map from last season, Mech Depot, actually was making me do this. And it's actually just a good thing to probably do on most maps to be safer against drop play. I still haven't actually gone back and checked if they have a natural. It's pretty reasonable to assume that they do at this point. And I have tabs on the most likely next places they would go for a third base. I don't really yet at the very corners, and that's a failing. I caught that with my Zerglings as they were going by on the minimap, and I think it also walked past one of the Overlords that there's some units out on the map. So I'm going to have to defend another wave of aggression. So I start gearing up to do that. I realize, oh hey, this queen is still alive out here. How'd that happen? I could have actually had to creep out even a little further than I do. So I really need to be making some of these into banelings. Yeah, there we go. I start them. They're a little bit late. I should have maybe started them as soon as I saw the army out on the minimap. So at 10 minutes, it's largely, yeah, I'm still keeping tabs on the important next bases, but I don't have tabs on the corner of the map. I'm not holding the watchtowers like I should. Got some actual Hydralisks out now. Just trying to defend this aggression. I really want my upgrades to finish before I engage if I can get there. But at some point I go, oh no, they're not going to let me get my upgrades done, so I just have to engage it. At least my banelings were done. So that can force a lot of these gateway units to run away or get destroyed. And a lot of them get destroyed because I don't think the Stalkers even have blink. Nope, they don't. So I'm still just trying to not die to any more aggression. I'm making more spines, which is only good if your opponent is doing aggression, because you'd much rather have those be drones and or units with the resources there.
You're engaging the opponent.
So I counterattack here. At some point I go, oh wait, I should probably take a third base behind this. I go, okay, well they have enough units there, they're not going to just die to this, I should just back off. Plus, my upgrades need to finish, so now both my upgrades have finished. So I got the upgrades for the melee attack and for the carapace. So I'll make my Zerglings and Banelings more effective, and everybody have more armor, which is especially good against Zealots since they have 2 attacks. You get the armor takes away damage from each attack. Still making some more Hydralisks. Need to kind of get a critical mass of them to really be able to attack effectively. I did start a third base there because I realized that I am going to need to do so to continue in this game. Now that I've held off the aggression, I need to actually get my big economy to do stuff. I'm needing to get actually enough drones on minerals to sort of balance out my mineral and gas income, so I start getting too much gas here, and I think that lasts for a lot of the rest of the game. Because ideally, at some point, I should have saved another 300 minerals and made yet another base, and just tried to get enough drones at all 4 bases. So basically my 4th is much later than it should be, and that's causing this problem. But part of the reason my 4th is later, I'm just trying to be ultra careful to not die to the aggression. My opponent doesn't quite get what's going on. They think, well, why am I doing so much damage not accomplishing anything? Well, I mean, I keep rebuilding my drones. I always make sure to try to build enough army to just enough army to not be dead, and then re-droning. Because what I want to do is get to the point that I have so many more workers than my opponent that I can make so much of a bigger and better army than them that will overwhelm what they're doing. So I go up here with the Hydralisk. This is not quite actually a critical mass of them. I probably should have backed up sooner. I trade for some things. These Zealots warp in and kind of get on top of the Hydralisk. They're not good at retreating. Like, that without Zerglings, they cannot retreat. They're just all going to die. Because the charge will keep triggering on the Zealots and let them close the distance.
That mineral field's gone. Don't spend it all in one place.
So I do have that base up. I haven't really put any drones there yet, which is a problem. It should already have some drones. And I'm mining still a lot of gas for some reason. I should really be pulling some of my drones off the gas at this point, since it's getting so imbalanced, and put them into the minerals until I get that ratio better restored. So looking at the vision here, I don't have tabs on a potential third base anymore. I don't have tabs on this potential third base. I do still on this one here, which is good. But I also am not paying attention to stuff all the way at the very corner of the map. So if my opponent's doing any of that stuff, I am unaware of it. I saw, okay, there's all their zealots going by. That means they're likely to come try to attack my potential third. The one that I think is really more of a fourth for Zerg. Or maybe not even a fourth. If you're going to take it, it's going to be after your third base, I think. At least against Protoss and Terran. So I see them all kind of pulling up, waiting to attack me. I just want to get in here and crush this attack and not take a lot of damage if I can avoid it. My overlords, I've started pathing toward the corners of the map. Well, these won't spot this pylon, so I send my next Zerglings I make up to deal with it. I go ahead and surround their zealots that I sent over here because I had seen them going by on the minimap, which is good. But I am starting to send out more overlords to try to keep eyes on different parts of the map. Get up here and I go, oh, wait, do they have a base up here too? Yes, turns out they do. So I said, well, let's shut that down. Can't be having that. That's, as far as I'm concerned, my part of the map. Like, I would say that's a potential fifth base for me. You know, if I keep expanding up the side of the map here, my fourth is just north of where I have my third, and then my fifth just north of that. Can't be line the mine from that. Go back here thinking, okay, well, I think they're trying to hide a base, but I'm shutting that down. Oh, I better check if they're hiding bases anywhere else. So I start sending overlords to do that.
That mineral field's gone. Don't spend it all
Did I ever get the speed upgrade for the overlords? I did not. So overlords do move a little bit faster now without the speed upgrade, but it's still much faster when they have the speed upgrade. So you can see my whole army making a line across the minimap there. Start to go engage. I go, oh wait, I don't really want to engage into zealots without banelings. I back up far enough I think my opponent won't follow to morph the banelings. I set up my hotkeys so I can control them separately from the rest of my army while I'm doing this.
Vespian guys are exhausted.
Because what you want to do is you never want to attack move a baneling, you always want to just move command them and right click on what you want them to destroy so that they don't end up just getting near a stalker and blowing up in that one. You really want them to connect with zealots. So if they get gunned down near an enemy unit, they'll still do the damage to it, but you can try to right click them to actually connect on the units you want. So I ended up actually getting a couple around there. I destroyed a lot of their zealots, but I don't have any more tanking for my Hydralisk either. I can't really follow them up this ramp, so turn around and go home. I'm starting to move more overlords to check out places on the map, like I'm checking out the bottom right corner now. I still don't have eyes on their other third base potential location, that fourth base potential location down the map. That's definitely a thing that could improve. But I'm definitely seeing more of the map than I was. So I'm getting the second level upgrades for the missile attack and the melee attack there. I have, yep, just want to deal more damage. Start an infestation pit because I want to go to a hive. I'm going to need to go to a hive. There's the hive. Going down and aspire because I'm going to have to transition to broodlords, I think, to win this game. Because I'm just like, how does my opponent keep having so many gateway units all the time? Because I have not done that as good a job as I could of seeing, oh wait, they have a third base over on the right here. I started some spines. Eventually I managed to clean this up, get this attack out of the way. But I just have kept fending off aggression after aggression after aggression. My opponent's like, oh well, don't understand how this is happening, and ends up leaving. This could have been an easier matchup for me if I would have actually made sure to keep following up here. And I really should have gone back and double checked what was going on with my opponent's tech and their main and natural as well. Especially like double robo, and they're getting a robotics bay. This means they could have Colossus or disruptors. I never went back and checked on that at all. But I did keep seeing they had a whole bunch of gateway units because they kept attacking me with them. I did an okay-ish job of scouting some of their potential future bases. Still need to keep a better eye on the most likely next expansion and go back and rescout for the tech that they might have. It's going to be all for this one.